Hello, welcome back to Soul Search Sunday with Johnny Tiger on May 14, 2023. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. Here in BC, we've had a very beautiful day. So I know some of the local mothers had a good day today. That's good. In other parts of Canada, we're seeing wildfires and other uh, very extraordinary, horrible natural disasters that's going on. So it's not so good for some people. But wherever you are, I hope that you enjoyed Mother's Day, and if your mother is still in this world, at least get to, if not spend time with them, at least get to talk to them. I talked to both my mothers on the phone, uh, my biological mother and the lady who but brought me up like a mother should. So I have like two mothers. I guess I can count myself either fortunate or unfortunate. Um, so since it's Mother's Day, uh, that kind of make me think about sometimes in our life, depending on the kind of relationship we get into, we end up with yet another mother in our life. Okay, we end up with a dreaded mother-in-law. And so I want to do an episode about relationship between you and the in-laws, or you and your son or daughter-in-laws, or you and the mother or father-in-laws, because I know that throughout history, for hundreds of years, thousands of years, the problem with in-laws has always existed. It's worse for some people, it's better for some people. For some people, it's just a minor annoyance when they have to deal with in-laws, but for some people, it can be totally dreadful. Uh, while the mechanic, the dynamic between in-laws has always been and will always be complicated and with many, many nuances and pitfalls and twists and turns. Today, I want to take a little bit of time, and I promise this will be a little bit of time. This episode should be a lot shorter than other Soul Search Sunday. I do want to take a little bit of time to go over one of the biggest common factor as to why in-laws can't get along with each other. And the word we are operating with here, the key word of the day is boundary. Yes, boundary. We have hear this about relationship and friendship and business dealings, and this is vitally important in relationship with your in-laws as well. If you have ever had issues with the mother and father of a girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife, or you've had problems dealing with the partner your children choose to have in their life, then hopefully this episode will help you out somewhat. When we talk about boundaries, we are even more specifically talking about expectation and how you treat each other, how you should treat each other. Now, without needing to be said, of course, you should always treat each other like human beings. Okay? So, mother in law, father in law, they're not this godlike creature that is insurpassable, insurmountable, and it's horrible, and they're going to uh, be able to break up your relationship if you don't listen to them. Uh, Honestly, if your relationship is so fragile that your partner will break up with you because of you not getting along or not being on the good book of their parents, then it's probably better for you that you break up in this relationship right now rather than waiting until later, right? I think this is something that it's better if you find out now. If I were to disagree with your parent, are you going to break up with me? Because if so, then we need to just go our own way now. Okay, so uh, expectation and how you view your in-laws, your in-law parents, is one thing. Don't place them on a high pedestal. Pedestal. They are human. You are human. You have your life. They have their life. Yes, you love the person that they brought into this world, but that is neither here or there. Okay. Um, and for the in-laws, treating your younger, your son-in-law, daughter-in-law, treat them just like that. You treat them like human. They are not some tools for you to forge into how you think your kids should be. They are not some tool for you to forge into taking care of your kids. They are not obligated to be here to please you. They are not here to be with you. If we want to be blunt about it, you are just a byproduct of their relationship. uh, if you're not here, your son-in-law, daughter-in-law would still be fine. Like they are perfectly okay without you. So you're not that important to them. They're not that important to you. Treat each other like normal human beings, and this is one of the biggest steps you can take to make this relationship a lot better with your in-laws. Now, some people may say, well, yeah, but my mother-in-law or father-in-law may think they act like I should kowtow to them, I should bow down to them. Well, that's them. Okay, everybody can expect anything. Uh, like one of the cliches says, uh, ex- wish in one hand and shit in the other hand, and see which one get full first. We can replace the wishing with expecting, and you'll get exactly the same result. Now, obviously, just achieving that first step is not going to be the optimum result that we look for in the in-law relationship. Just treating each other as human is a good start. It's a good first step. And if you don't get past that, you'll still be fine. But uh, if you want optimum benefit, optimum uh, joy and happiness out of this relationship, this very much triangular relationship between you and your partner and then between you and your in-laws, then you need to go one step further. Unfortunately, this is where a lot of people end up going wrong. This is when expectation end up going wrong. Is when people take that step too far. Okay, so without any more complicated rambling, let me give it to you as straight as possible. Most people, the reason they don't get along with their son-in-law, daughter-in-law, or they don't get along with their father-in-law, mother-in-law, not all, but most people, the issue is that they are overstepping their boundary. They are getting too close to their in-laws, right? We talked about this before in other circumstances, in friendship, in working relationship. Sometimes you want to keep your distance. Okay, with your in-law, you definitely don't want to be too close because it's when you get that close that you will randomly get reminded that hey, back off. You are not this close. You haven't earned this spot. And you know why that happened? It's because traditionally we have this wrongly preached expectation that mother-in-law, father-in-law are just like your mom and dad, and son-in-law, daughter-in-law are just like your son and daughter. You're going to be a family. You're going to treat each other like family. That's utter crap. Okay, this is that's a polite. I can tell you. I can give it to you. Utter crap. Why is it utter crap? Because until you met your partner, you and your in-law, or until your son-in-law, daughter-in-law met your children, you and your in-law have never lived together, have never met, probably would never have met. Okay, so if you go from not knowing each other, not needing each other, not even trusting each other because you don't know each other, okay, for 20, 30 years, and suddenly this new person is in your life, not because you want them to be, but because someone else, your children, brought them into the picture, or you're in someone's family because you happen to be sleeping with their son or their daughter. Don't overstep your bounds and suddenly think that you are now family. You're not family, okay? You won't be family until you are at least together for 10, 20 years. And even then, you are more like distant family. You're not going to be like blood, like close blood relative. Uh, so a lot of people make the mistake that I'm your father-in-law, so I'm your dad. I'm your daughter-in-law, so you should treat me like your daughter. No, no, you're expecting way too much, too quick, too soon, too much. Okay, don't overstep that boundary because when you overstep that boundary, you get nothing but disappointment in the long run. Don't think of each other as family. Okay, now some people may ask at this point, so what should we think of each other? Well, like I said, at first, treat each other like human being, normal human being. Offer them the normal courtesy, normal civility that you would offer a normal human being. But when you want this relationship to go up to the next level, then this is what you want to do. For mother-in-law and father-in-law, you want to treat your son-in-law or daughter-in-law like a student, okay? A student, not family, not your own children, not your own son, not your own daughter, because the moment you think you are their your own son, your own daughter, you're going to think it's okay to say messed up things to them, because that's what family do. Mother and father will say effed up things to you and expect you to forgive them later because they are your mom, they're your dad. Okay, in-laws, you don't have that privilege. You have not earned that privilege. So you need to think of them as your your student, your disciple, your apprentice, rather than your own children. And I'm not talking about student in the old days where teachers could hit them whenever they wanted to, or a teacher could punish them wherever they felt like. I'm talking about students like today, okay, modern students, like the students we get in martial art classes today. When they do something wrong, we have to say, "Oh, no, that's okay. Just try again." You know, and if I tell a student to do push-up, and the student say, "I don't want to do push-up," oh, well, okay, well, that's fine. You know, maybe how about some sit-ups? Can we do some sit-ups? Or what would you like to do? Would you want to just sit and talk a little bit? Like, modern students, where you have to be courteous, where you have to be professional, where you have to be nice. They treat your younger in-laws, your son-in-law, your daughter-in-law, like that, like they're your student, and you are a teacher. And no matter how you feel about them inside, no matter how much you're pissed off, you need to be professional. You need to be that teacher. Okay? They are your student. You are the teacher. If you can keep that in mind, I guarantee you that sooner or later, assuming they stick around long enough, they will become the best student you ever had. And eventually, they'll even be like your family. But first, you need to treat them with courtesy, with professionalism, like they're your student. Now, for the younger side of the thing, how should you think of your father-in-law and mother-in-law? How should you interact with them? Again, don't treat them like family. Because the moment you do, and believe me, I have personal experience in various relationships uh, with this one. The moment you start thinking they are just like your mom, they're just like your dad, you can do anything and they should be proud of you, you are going to be very hurt. You're going to be very disappointed because suddenly they're going to slap you in the face of not physically, hopefully, um, but figuratively speaking, they're going to slap you in the face and tell you, back off. You're not even my family. You're not my children. You're not my child. Just because you're sleeping with my daughter, just because you're sleeping with my son, does not make you my children. Okay? So you don't want to invite that. So again, do not assume that just because you're sleeping with your children, that now you are family. How you should treat your father-in-law, mother-in-law, you should treat them like they are your boss. Some people are saying, well, yeah, but I thought you said don't treat them like they're God. Yeah, God, boss is two different things, right? If my boss pisses me off, I can quit, right? I don't, I respect my boss. I want to be on my boss's good side. I want to please my boss, but there is a very fine limit. I'm not going to degrade myself to please my boss. I'm not going to worship the ground my boss walk on. So boss and God is two very different level. Okay, so do not treat them like they're God, or don't put them on a pedestal and think they're some kind of a supernatural presence, but you do want to treat them like how you would treat your boss. Anytime you're interacting with your in-laws, your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, think to yourself, if this person is my boss and my job literally depends on them, what would I do in this circumstance? Right? Your mother-in-law, your father-in-law just said something that you make you kind of cranky and unhappy. Ask yourself, if it's my boss at work that said this, how would I react to it? Okay, and do accordingly. Treat them like how you would treat your boss, and a lot of things will fall into place much more naturally. Because that is a balance we're looking for. Not like a god, not like they're my mom or my dad, but I want to treat them like how I would treat my boss. How do I treat my boss? I do my best to do good job, to do good work. I do my best to make my boss happy. I do my best to make sure my boss recognize the hard work I do and how good a worker I am. I do my best to impress my boss. Okay, and these are the things that you want to do when it comes to your father-in-law and mother-in-law. Uh, treat them like your boss, like you, uh, like how you would act in your workplace. Again, I would say that in-law relationship has been a big issue in many societies all over the world for thousands of years. It's not something that a blind guy just talking shit on the video will solve in one day. But if you keep what I say tonight in mind, next time you have to deal with your in-law, if you're dealing with your son-in-law or daughter-in-law, treat them like your student. If you are dealing with your mother-in-law and father-in-law, treat them like your boss, and hopefully, your road to finally becoming a legit family member will be a lot smoother. I hope you guys all had a happy Mother's Day, and I'll be back again tomorrow for some Music Monday. For now, have a good night.